So we have reached module number 5. In module number 5 we actually have the topics such as you can see over here, RS and JIS. Other than that, we have environmental management system and environmental impact assessment, right? And also, other than that, in the syllabus they have mentioned about kind of a field trip, right, in any wastewater treatment plant, etc., etc. So we will see how we can go about that, right? And also various uh, role of NGOs has to be explained. So there are some 3 to 4 topics with which we could complete, excluding the field visit. We can complete the whole syllabus. So RS and JS. RS means remote sensing and GIS. So remote sensing is a science and art of acquiring information. So whatever you have in your smartphone, that Google Maps or Apple Maps, so everything is mainly depending on RS and GIS itself. We actually take spectral, that is the color, spatial, temporal and radiometric. So spatial means the 3D image, right, and etc., etc., so on and so forth. About a material, objects, area or a phenomenon under investigation without direct contact. So without going anywhere, you can watch that. Some means of transferring information through space must be utilized. So whatever is required for us to investigate without going to an actual position, we could use remote sensing. The term remote sensing was first introduced in 1960 by Elvin L. Pruitt of US Office of Naval Research. So in the 1960s, RS and JS had come into picture. Also, the Google Maps, whatever is there, it was not so advanced in the time of its release. But as it started acquiring more and more companies like Waze and etc. There are many more companies. You could see about that. There is a video on that actually. The YouTube, the rise of Google Maps, I guess. So you could see that. So how they acquired and how it became one of the great tool to navigate. So that video is under the channel of CNBC, the rise of Google Maps. You can watch that. So what are the different stages of remote sensing? So as you can see over here, a source, right, of electromagnetic energy, that is RS and JS. Basically how it works means, when just think of that as you are throwing a ball. Okay, you are throwing a ball on the land and it comes back, it pitches back, right? And if we catch it again, that information we get it back. But when you throw a ball into the water, it doesn't come back. So that information which we have, we don't get it back. So we consider that as water, and according to the altitude we can classify the information. So RS means remote sensing, GIS means geographic information system. So we have to have a source of electromagnetic energy, right, through which the beam of lights can be passed through. It reflects back, it is taken back by the sensors and it is processed. Next is the transmission of energy from source to the surface of the earth, where it also undergoes absorption and scattering during passage through the atmosphere. And finally we get a lot of information, but we need to interpret them, right? So interpretation of EMR right? Electromagnetic radiation, EMR means electromagnetic radiation with earth surface, right? What do you so without interpretation we can't actually see what is the information that has been collected. So reflection, scattering, absorption and re-emission. Transmission of reflected or scattered or emitted energy from the objects or features of earth's surface to the remote sensor. So finally we get the sensor data output. So as you can see in this picture, there is sunlight. Because of that we can consider that as a point A. It reflects on the surface, because of it illuminates. So that illuminated light, whatever is there, it is captured by the RS and JS satellites and they are sent to processing. We get the processed image, we get the territory or the topographical features of a land, so that we can work on that. So it's a very basic introductory part of RS and JS. There are many open electives on while doing engineering or MTech in RS and JS also. So false and true color composites. False color composite, right? NIR, red and green. That could be false color composition, right? So what do you mean by NIR? NIR means near infrared reflectance, right? So near infrared reflectance is NIR, and next one is red and green color. So basically green, red and blue are the primary colors. In the true color composition we can get the true colors of a topographical area. Next is about GIS, that is Geographic Information System, right? So what do you mean by GIS? GIS is a computer based tool or software which has the capacity of storing, manipulating, analyzing and retrieving, transforming and displaying the spatial and non-spatial data in an efficient and systematic manner. So whatever the data we have collected, right, in the remote sensing, that has to be processed. So with the help of GIS, right, it is a kind of a tool or a software which can store the data, it can interpret the data, it can manipulate the data, right? Spatial or non-spatial data, right? That there is proper physical data collected or not a proper physical data, if it is created, we could manipulate that for better understanding of the data which is collected by the remote sensing equipments. So coming to the components of GIS, we have a software, we have hardware, we have data that has to be collected, a procedure and a user, that is we are the users. Basic functions of GIS is nothing but mainly data acquisition and pre-processing. We need to pre-process that, right? Database management and retrieval, spatial measurement and analysis, graphic output and visualization. All these things has to be done. So these are the basic features of GIS. So what are the uses of GIS is natural resource management, right? Forest and wildlife, hydrological cycles, minerals. So as you can see, without going to a particular place, we could see the forest cover or the wildlife, right? We could see the hydrological or the amount of water present. Also urban and regional management, land use planning, environmental impact. There is also a topic called as environmental impact assessment, that is what has to be done, the things that has to be done before starting up of a project. Next one is the public works, right? If there has to be any public works that has to be done, we could do that. Emergency response can be done, and also for legal records. In commercial use of GIS, we have market area analysis, site selection, and routing. So if a market has to be selected, we could select and we can analyze without going there. We could select a site and also routing, an optimum route which we could plan from going to point A to point B. Next one is agricultural management, field records, right? Animal management, climate change, and the human impact. So that is all about the basic things that you should know about RS and GIS. Right, so RS and GIS has been playing a major role in our day-to-day life without even knowing that. And I would always suggest that you should go to the or you should watch the YouTube video of rise of Google Maps, right? So that you could understand what has been done or how difficult it is to or it was to navigate from point A to point B without the help of RS and GIS, right? So that was all about it, about RS and GIS.